Hello and good evening. It is I, D Black, your host on Zvish on Focus. And today on the show, we are going to be delivering. We have a guest, someone who is going to be preempting and enlightening you on certain issues that have to do with culture. I hope you all had a good weekend and you enjoyed yourselves. Today is one of, I should say, the best shows that we're having because last week was our premiere. This week, we're having our very first guest on Shawane on Focus. Our number is 071 996 1438. 071 And you can follow us on all our social media platforms at iTech Studios. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you have fastened your seatbelts because this is going to be one hell of a ride. You're going to be enjoying yourselves because I personally enjoyed meeting this individual. One classy person. He is classy, he is on point, and definitely he's one of the individuals that is going to make a change in this country. So you better keep your ears locked and perhaps even your eyes gazed and focused and locked on your screens because this is going to be something that has impact. Impact on you, impact on me, and society at large. The Shawane on Focus today is going to be mainly talking about culture. We want to know what culture is. What do we mean when we say culture? Who is culture if culture is a person? And we're going to be targeting artists today. Yes, that's right, artists. Are you at home, sitting there, an artist, a painter, a musician, maybe, a fashion designer, and you're looking for a way forward? Today's guest is going to give you that way forward and is perhaps going to give you the keys to unlock certain doors in your life. I am your host, D Black, and this is Shawane on Focus. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Z-Nights, we are finally in the zone with one individual. We mentioned Donald Musundire. He's one of the individuals that has, I think, one of the most interesting catalogs I've ever seen. It ranges from working at ZBC to founding an organization that has to do with arts and culture, something that a few Zimbabweans or few individuals have actually thought about. And I'm in the presence of greatness. Donald, greet the Z-Nights.
Hello, viewers all over the world. Welcome to Zvish on Focus.
And as you can see, he's a man of impeccable fashion. I think I might have underdressed as compared to him. You can see he's a person of class, a person of standard. Donald, we welcome you to the show of the Shawan on Focus. The Z-Nights want to hear more about you. So may you please tell us, who is Donald Musundire?
Okay, thank you so much. Donald Musundire is a young man born 30 years ago on Tuesday, 29 March. And we have studied various levels in terms of media integrity, digital marketing, media consultancy, arts and culture consultancy, as well as musicology.
Okay, I think if my CV was your CV, I think I'd be in places right now because that sounds impeccable. And it's an honor to be here with you today in the studio. So, Mr. Donald, if you can allow me to call you Mr. Donald.
Yes.
I'd really want to know. I was walking in the streets, Shawane, Gweru, I've been places. And there's this thing that I've been hearing, Ikwelo Arts Association. May you please tell us more about that?
Yes, Equal Arts Association is a habitat for artists, which was founded in 2020 in Midlands Province when I was uploaded to be a provincial arts and culture promoter at the National Arts Council of Zimbabwe. And that was my exit from ZBC, as you were saying. And I said, no, I need to have something profound, something that can umbrella especially the concerns of people who have need in the community. And I spotted the need as artists because art has become a vulnerable ground, a vulnerable perspective to say in buses, trains, aeroplanes. If you just say I'm an artist, it's just like you have said I'm very poor. So to myself, I said, no, I have to represent artists because working in the media industry, and the national media fraternity, working with national media bodies, I have seen the zeal that artists have. And I say to myself, what should I do for these artists? And I said, no, I have to just create a room for them to come and understand that their visions can be uploaded through research, through exploration, through execution, and through amplifying their talents to become careers. For example, if you visit Harare nowadays, if you go to Mushroom Studios or per se, if you go to Military Touch, if you knock at the reception there and ask to see Ja Preza. He has an office. He's now a professional artist. That's his career. He's no longer that Ja Preza who used to say, I'm part-time musician. You know, every artist has that opportunity. So that's the purpose for Equal Arts Association, and that's the mission for Equal Arts Association. And now, why did we found the organization in Gweru? It was because if you see and if you investigate, the cream of art and quality art in Zimbabwe comes from Midlands.
Okay. So we thank you for that wonderful answer. I was listening and noted down.
Yes.
Artists and professionalism. We have seen a trend, and of recent, perhaps in our country, Zimbabwe, where we've realized that the term artist, ndikamuka kumba and I decide to be an artist. I might be an actor, a singer, a dancer, or whatever. It's why it's a broad term. Are you telling me that I can be a professional in the field and not doing it as a part-time job?
100% correct, my presenter and viewers all over the world. You can be who you want to be or who you want to become, especially if you understand the professional eloquency and steps of arts. But for you to gain that, you have to gain that through research, through understanding what is really happening in other worlds there, through understanding the historical context and background of what you want to become and who you wanna become to be. You understand? So in terms of that, you know, when I realized that was a certain day when I just saw a very simple deal of the first youngest professional artist whom I've ever seen here in Zimbabwe. Some people, they call him Ras Pompi. You know, he was Form 2 at some time, and I was part of the consultants who signed his scholarship to go to Biz Signal Foundation, where he is like now. You know, he became a professional artist at the age of like 16 when he was Form 2. You understand? He now has got a manager. He now has got makeup artists. He now has got people surrounding him. He's not paying those people, but it's just professionalism that is paying everything. But now, you would see what? When I saw that happening, I said, no, this should happen to every artist who is in Zimbabwe, who is in Midlands, who is in Shavane, as it is our focus, so to say. But it is not easy to become a professional artist, especially if you don't understand art and if you don't understand the soil that you are standing on.
So you forgive me, I have to cut you on this one. What is art? Because we can talk about the artists.
Yes.
And someone might be out there, the Z-Nights out there might be sitting at home.
That's true.
And they're saying, this guy is talking about arts, he's going on and
yes.
on and on about art. But the question is, what is art?
Right. Art, many people, they defined art, even our dictionaries, they defined art through science of doing something or portraying some images or information. But let me tell you what is art. Art is a language that speaks the voice of change or interprets the voice of change through different modes of interpretations that anyone who accesses any level of that interpretation can feel, not see the change. That is art. I can make a lion sculpture here. I can draw a zebra here. Unless only you feel if that zebra could live and feed, or the story behind that zebra, that's when art comes. Art is not just coming up with a drawing. Art is not just coming up with a song. Art is not just acting, just being comedians. Like nowadays, many pastors are becoming comedians, even in church. That's not art. Many people are thinking that when I join to comedy, I'm an artist. When I just sing a song about Mjolo, trying to make it up my own Mjolo. Do you understand? That's art. That's not art. That's music.
Okay. I see. Thank you for that very informative answer. So, Zenites, you've heard it for yourself. You might be there at home, you're an artist. Right there, right now, you are an artist. You might be thinking of maybe designing that dress. You might be thinking of singing a song, or maybe doing something that expresses how you feel or expresses how your people at home feel. Is what Donald is telling us today. And, this will bring us even further into the discussion. Donald,
Sir.
we don't want to go too far from home.
Yes.
We want to bring it back into the Zimbabwean landscape. And I'm going to give this question. At home, I hope you're prepared to hear the answer to this question. What is culture? Because from what I've understood, culture, it's something that is embedded in us. If you look at the history of Zimbabwe from 1879, where the pioneer column first established, or should I say raised,
Yes.
Union Jack in
Yes.
Salisbury, modern day Harare,
Yes.
he's saying that they came with their culture.
Yes.
When the missionaries came, they came with their culture. When Nehanda, Kaguvi, and Chaminuka were doing whatever it was they were doing during their time,
Yes.
it was their culture. But now we're saying there is a modern day culture. But now the real question is, what is culture?
Right. And going back to the definition again, thank you for the question, and thank you, our viewers, for understanding where we are going with the show. As I said, art is a language. Do you understand? People might transverse and also say culture is a language. No, culture is the image that is portrayed through the art language. Do you understand? But before I add art and culture to be together, I want to define culture. So culture is actually a physical act that interprets how we came to be what we are. Culture is what tells you who is your mother and why she is your mother. Culture is what tells you who is your father and why is he your father. Culture is not signs of saying dressing is culture. No. Culture is the bond that binds us together to understand the setup of our origins. That's culture. So you will never understand culture if you don't understand your origin. So let's say, translating into art, hip hop is not a culture. It's not derived from, it's not even Western culture. R&B is not even Western culture. Sungura is not even Zimbabwean culture. It's music that is portrayed using cultural values and systems and articles through portraying it using a language of art and determining it by using the philosophy that is found in culture. When a mother and a father fights, what happens at home? I should sing a Sungura song about Maina Baba Musarovana. So Sungura doesn't mean culture. It's a Shinri. So culture on its own plays a pivotal role of us understanding how we came to be what we are. So if I am raping my sister at home or abusing my sister at home and I say I'm an artist, I'm not a culturalist. If I'm a thief in the community and I'm well known as a traditional healer registered by Zinata, I don't understand culture. So culture is the human Bible.
Well, I think that statement sort of sums it up. Culture is the human Bible. Just imagine, before, I don't want to be racist or anything, but just before the white men came to Africa, culture was well understood. Culture was well understood by everyone. By Tamuka somewhere in Musango, by Siabonga Obongani somewhere in the bushes.
That's true.
Under a cave chasing a lion or whatsoever.
Yes.
They understood what culture was because there was a certain element of connection. Like you have said, it is a bone. It connects us to who we are. It makes me as Darren Lovu a part of my mother. It makes me a part of my father. And in that element, we're saying that culture is sort of like a link. And then art is now the expression of that culture.
The network.
It's the network in which that culture is expressed. Like you have clearly put it, Sungura. Sungura is not culture. Hip hop, if you go to the United States, it seems as if hip hop is American, but the truth is hip hop is just a genre that is more, or should I say, is used more in the United States to express their meanings. So now you can clearly see back home, where you are right now, you can clearly see that art and culture, they're intertwined. And this is a very crucial part of the show which we have reached, because Donald Musundire, as I have said, he's a culture activist.
So now, this is the part where, Donald, I want you to really tell that individual back home, the individual who's watching us now, what does it mean to be a cultural activist? What is this activism? What are you trying to achieve or attain?
Right. Thank you very much for that consideration. But so to say, I no longer want to call it a consideration because it's the war that I have joined. And it's not an easy war. There are different types of activists in our community, political, gender-based, and so on and so on. Activists were different. But to myself and to my fellow colleagues, my friends, you know, they really understand me from the bone. This is not a cheap industry. Do you understand? This is not a well-funded industry to become an arts and culture activist. And being an arts and culture activist doesn't mean that I'm traditionally organized, but I'm traditionally antagonized. So to say, because that tradition is the one that leads me to understand not to leave my brother, my sister, who is in the street, who says I have the talent, but I want to deliver. So to say, the purpose of Equal Arts Association, the purpose of this activism that we are coming to is to portray that we should not leave artists behind, disabled, different genders, races, and whatever. So as an activist, I'm there to represent all those who have seen, experienced the vulnerabilities that are found or associated with the arts or culture, or we call it the cultural and creative industries. Remember, even our country, so to say, our legislature, so to say, they have what we call the Arts and Cultural and Heritage Policy, number one. They have the Disability Policy, number two. They have the Gender Policy, number three. They have the Youth Policy, number four. And they have the National Budget from RBZ, number 5. All those streams, they've got columns that they've supervised or that they've fitted, that they've got portions for artists, but we are not benefiting. So it's an activity. I'm saying to the president, I'm saying to the Minister of Youth, Sports, Arts and Recreation, where is that portion executed? And I'm saying to the community, the business fraternity, I'm saying, where is the column for artists? I'm saying, you know, as you said, we are on Zvish focus. Let me practice my activism on Zvish focus. I'm saying to the business fraternity here in Zvishavana, we've got Pote Holdings, we have got Main Road Motors, we've got many big companies for it, we've got many, so to say, Dashley and whatever. What are those business people and stakeholders doing for the petition of making artists survive? Are they not sang at the studio there? Are they not portrayed? Are they not artists who comes after every promotional event and they are singing, they are doing whatsoever? But you find they're just given mineral water if they get the chance. Nothing. Okay, let's just go to the modeling industry. You know, I'm not just saying this because my wife is also a model, but I'm just saying this because I've also seen the vulnerability that is in the modeling industry. You know, have you ever heard of this? We have got Mr. and Miss Marondera, so to say, and Mr. and Miss Marondera is going to be hosted at a very a 5-star hotel. And after models come, they go to the runway. After the runway, they're just going to be given certificates in envelopes, nothing to support them. Nothing to support them, and they go home. And for the model to win, he should be in a relationship with the judge or the organizer.
Okay, so stop you right there. That's a very sensitive issue, and we're glad that you brought that to light.
Yes.
The artist in Zimbabwe is facing a crisis.
But before I finish there,
yes.
I think you've cut me across. I want to come also to the media industry. Do you understand? The media industry on its own, as an activist who has got a media background, I have seen with my eyes children, beautiful queens, being abused in studios. So I'm saying to myself, I will not shut my mouth until they understand, or one understands. Because it seems to be ignored in our community. Do you understand? I managed to attend the General Conference for Artists at African level last year. And I said to my minister, and I said to all the ministers in Africa, the Zimbabwean situation is like this. Zimsek has dropped a statement that there were 380,000 dropouts of students who have registered to O and A level who failed to write because of COVID-19. And I gave them a survey or a case study. Take those 380 students and put them here and ask them what you do. They all tell you that we are artists. So it's a burden that is now coming to us, the consultants, to us, the studio guys, to work with those children, to work with those upcoming artists, because all of them, they're saying they're artists. Some are abused, some are tortured, some are misused, some are just lying that they are artists, what is they are not, they're just trying to hide. And everyone who is youth and associated with drugs, the quick answer, if you ask him or her, what do you do? He or she says, I'm an artist. So that's where I profound this issue of becoming an activist. So balancing the facts, I'm not saying I'm an activist or saying I'm only representing artists. I'm also representing the nation. In terms of answering hidden questions that are covered by art. Everyone who is stealing, who is robbing, if you go to the police camp, if you go to the charge office like now, everyone has got this hairstyle. If you go to the charge office like now and you ask, what do you do? To an extent that a model would come from home lying to a parent that I'm going to practice for a modeling pageant without defining modeling to the parent. I talked to other models to say, but make them shibika even in the kitchen when you're cooking in the kitchen. And tell mama about the industry. Don't just say I'm a model. Because why? Our parents, they think modeling and prostitution, they go hand in hand. And they will never accept. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Have you ever had any testimony in church about a parent who said, my daughter is a model, she has won this pageant? Have you ever heard of it?
No. So before we go too far, I was saying, the way the artist has been painted in this country is in such a light, like what you were just saying right now, that the model has been painted as a prostitute. The Zim dancehall artist has been painted as a serious drug abuser. And anyone who does anything to do with music in this country is shunned upon as an individual who does not have anything of considerate value to say, right? And you know, the problem, as we close off this segment, we want to know how can we voice these opinions, because clearly we've been blindsided, where they're not giving us the full story. They're not telling us what, like you're saying, models face problems that they face out there, where we're saying in terms of modeling, where a model might have just a certificate. But if you go to the United States, you go to South Africa, you go to France, where it's believed to be the hub of fashion, right? You discover that a model is given enough, that is enough money. But when you come to Zimbabwe, a model has to sell his or her body in order for them to get any recognition, if any at all. We're saying that these individuals, they are forced into the situations they are. Zim dancehall artists are forced into drug abuse. We're not saying it's their choice. They are being forced into the situation because of some secret stories, some secret things that are happening behind the scenes. And models, they are also facing certain trouble. So, closing statement. How can we address these issues?
4 quick things. Number 1, study to show thyself approved. Artists, they have to research beyond. Nowadays, the system has changed from the old system where artists were being picked from the streets on talent shows. And you understand? Now the Makazu was picked at a Limpopo Road show, which was sponsored by an NGO, is no longer the Makazi that is now writing a concept to start his own show. Only after study. Number 2, if you are not vocal, you remain local. Art is about being vocal. We have got these artists who come to us and say, I'm just quiet, but he's an artist. If you are not vocal, you remain local. If a businessman approaches you, come and sing at my bar, and you just say, Darabo, and you come to us and say, he said I should come and just go without an agreement. Shun your talent and go back home. Don't boast to me. Do you understand? Point number 3, research. is the only package that delivers fairness in art. Because research will give you knowledge to understand what is it all about a quotation, what is it all about a request, who should represent me when I'm misled or mishandled in my profession. That's the purpose for Equal Arts Association and National Arts Council, among other bodies. We are here for you. Consult us, for us to educate you. How can you create vibrant show? How can you get sponsors? Nowadays, you are if you're an artist, you are the first manager of your brand. It's no longer the issue of manage and so forth. No, if you fail to manage yourself and to propose. Because nowadays, if you meet Pote, a clever Pote, and you say, I'm an artist, you never listen to that. Go to him with an idea that is written down, with a petition of a non-disclosure agreement. Mr. Pote, I'm thinking with your shop Pote Central, if I can act 1 or 2, 3 things that can advertise your bread, and in form of what I can call breadwinners promotion, you are going to make sure that as much as you are adding value to the bread, adding value to the Buy Zimbabwe effect, you can use your local products to promote your international products. But go back there to Port, they are using sugar to promote the bread that they bake in Shavani. Because there is a missing link of an artist who is just supposed to go with a cultural and creative idea, not an agenda. Artists of nowadays, they've got too much agenda than ideas. I'm reserved. I don't talk to people. You know me, my life. No, don't have an agenda. Have an idea, my guy. Don't come to studio when you're a lady to show the photographer what your thighs are like, what your breasts are like. Come with an idea. If I wear a potty t-shirt and you edit this photo nicely and we can push it, we can have money, my brother. Not like, no, you have to close the door and wait for people to go. I want this photo shoot where I'll be wearing a bra and a what only. No. Come with an idea, not agenda. Even those social media platforms that you have, Facebook, Instagram, whatsoever, they are platforms for ideas, not agenda. Go to the WhatsApp status, it's all about agenda. I'm the queen, my Jesus is with me, my what is with me, come and see me, I'll never regret. What about causing an idea? Market your products with me. Market your perfumes with me. That's idea breaking theories. So we are saying, in terms of you guys who are media practitioners, teach these children, teach these artists about ideas, not agendas. Agenda setting theory is all about them getting married and the future aspect of art. They will never get any benefit from the agenda, because art is not about the agenda, but the idea. That's why Oliver Mtukudzi managed to die at his age of 67 or so as an artist. Mbuya Stella Chiweshe died at 74 or 77, if I'm not mistaken, as an artist. But many artists, they die while they are no longer artists. There are now stories in newspapers. Do you understand?
Yeah, sure. So, thank you so much. Zenite, you've heard it for yourselves. If you want to be an artist, you have to be vocal in order for you not to be local. So, ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned for the third segment where we shall be closing off the show on culture and what it means to be an artist. Our number is 071 996 1438, and you can follow us on all our social media platforms at iTech Studios. Please stay tuned.
Welcome back, Zina,
to the final segment of the show today. For those who were tuned in on the previous segment, it got into a heated debate, or should I say rather, a heated answer section where we were being given by Donald Musundire, an art activist, or should I say a person who is for the arts, someone who is actively trying to promote the arts in Zimbabwe and Africa at large. So, Mr. Donald, this segment we are going to be answering a few more questions, but this time around, I definitely want to give you a question that is related to Zvishavane, so that those artists that are around us, the closest to us, can get an understanding. What is your opinion on the art landscape here in Zvishavane?
Zvishavane, so to say, thank you very much for your question, especially when it refers to the land, the Great Dyke land, Zvishavane. In arts, we call it the Great Dyke, the hub of the Great Dyke. Zvishavane is a place of opportunities, and Zvishavane is also a hub of many artists. But the exploration process is not slow, but is invisible. Most artists in Zvishavane have got hidden treasures. So, in terms of the Shawane, as my survey, I have managed to travel all over Midlands, Zimbabwe, and have discovered many things that are involving and evoking around the cultural and creative industry. So, pertaining with the issue of the Shawane, we are failing to get the sense or the originality that we are also a stable environment to create our own projects. So is to say you'd understand that many producers, artists who are in Shawane, they want to be related in Shawane in terms of creating content and calling themselves capital city or Harare based, so to say. That's why I told you that Midlands province has got the cream of artists. Let me drop down from Gweru Kavik to Shawane. DJ Tamuka himself, people they think DJ Tamuka is from Harare, is from Gweru. He was born and bred in Koba 14 in Gweru. That's where his family is as of now. You understand? That's the same as Shavane. We have got a biggest radio station here in Shavane FM. Do you know that is the biggest radio station in terms of coverage along the Great Dyke, the whole capacity of Great Dyke from Ngezi to Mberengwa? Do you understand? That's the IFM for us. But many artists they don't have access to the radio. Many artists they don't have access to the broadcasting mileage. Some of them is not because they don't have access to go to IFM, but they have this investigative feature, this frightening ethos that is in them of just saying, "Tunoshika say, vanolingika now say," and also corruption has corrupted our industry from an activist point of view. Taaneka kudhiza dhiza kuti DJ vapushe maprojects angu. I have to buy him some drinks. I have to be in love with him if I'm a lady. I have to take some few selfies with him and produce a predicament that we are in a connection of some sort for him to have pride of saying chimwana ichi ndakachipedzera. So you understand that. So Sishavane is a wide place of investment in terms of arts and culture. Let me talk of fine art, and let me talk of sculpture as an cultural and creative idea to say Zishawane is central. When you want to go to Bridge, when you want to go to Plumtree, when you want to go to the capital city, when you want to go to even the second largest city, you pass through Zishawane. But we don't have this place. And on its own, the Zvishavane local government department doesn't have enough adherence or resources that it can provide to artists. You know, when I used to come here, when Mantawa Market was still live, there was Zvishavane Arts and Culture Center. It's no longer there. It's now a flea market. And when you want to see Zvishavane artists, they are by the Civic Center, by the lawn there. And when you see them, it's only one person I think who is now there. And they are trying to create a Shawane Art Center via the assistance of the mine near Kantodo, where the Mimosa buses parks there. You know, at some point when I visited that place with my wife, she said to me, I was emotionalized as an activist. She said to me, "Daddy, this place is too far. How can people reach here?" And we were by the gate, and I shut her out, and I said, "No, let's just keep quiet." I was emotional on that one. She said, "Let's talk about why." Because I was just trying to protect the image and to protect what is there. But that's the reason. The geographical location of those artists is too dispersed. Some are doing their projects at home. But we are the home of Chinda, the home of the stone that is used to manufacture different kind of artifacts, sculptures, so to say. But it's not, at an improvisational stage. Zishavane was also constructed starting from the mine town. I want to add Zishavane and Mashawa. They got this baptism during even years after the liberation struggle to get the finest constructively processed arts and theater centers. Go to the Mine Club there and see a state of an art theater, but it's underutilized. I don't have to hide. It's underutilized, and I got it from a tip-off as a journalist that Midland State University is about to buy everything and to take everything to its own belonging, and access to the artist is now cut. So to say, we have got stadiums in Shavane to fill up people with arts project. Mantava Stadium, Maglas Stadium, but go to Maglas Stadium like now, it's half stadium and half push toilet. So to say, but artists we are there. We've got halls in Shavane, Canton Hall. It's now leased to a church. We used to have a hall here in town, which is now a bar. They call it Shisha Shaft or whatsoever. It's a hall for artists. Do you understand? But it has been turned to be something else. So those are the opportunities that have blocked artists on the ground, and to the artist life to themselves. Most of the artists, they are now having dual activities to do. You'd find he or she is trying music, she's selling at a certain flea market or at a certain bar. He is a korokosa somewhere, he is trying to make a living, not from art. Let's go to the tourism and hospitality sector, my guy. The presenter say the tourism and hospitality sector have got many lodges and villages here in Savannah which are also not utilized. I can call their names: Mtonjeni Gardens, Palawani, Porter Hughes Hotel. We have got the Canaan Gardens, and so many to mention, but only a few that I have mentioned. But artists, do they have access? Like now, this event is just 2 weeks before Valentine's. But I've discovered that many people are hosting those Valentine shows at bars, restaurants, and in-house, eastly there, studios and whatever. But we don't have places that are supporting artists with the vibe of giving them opportunities. There is a closed door agenda that I have discovered in Shawana between artists and prospective sponsors or progressive sponsors and supporters. Do you understand? We have got many facilities that are crumbling, like now here in Shawan, which are giving artists a non-beneficial agenda of saying, Shawan has got no opportunities. Shawan has got no agenda to save us as artists. Going even to Gweru there, a small place in Gweru can host artists more than a big place. There's Midlands Hotel. Only one event during the year when Macheso comes and is done. We have got the Regency Fema Hotel. No artist they understand how to make an event there. So we are saying here in Shawana, I want to encourage artists, come. Let's bury this history together. Come is the time where the digital world has come, where the access has come. Before we give you solutions, we want to teach you first. Yes, I know it might not be for free because it's a school. So we have to establish a cultural and creative educational method here in Shawane, where we can have a relationship with private stakeholders, non-governmental organizations, national development partners, private schools. They've got facilities that they can aid for artists or to artists, and also with the benefit from our own ministry, the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education, by offering an additional curriculum that is called Visual and Performing Arts from ECD up to A level.
Okay, so we will come back to that one. I really have to say this, and I have to say it with an open heart, without fear. One thing that has to be mentioned is that clearly there is a problem. We're in the dike, like you have mentioned. And for those who do not know what a dike is a piece of land, a strip of land that is abundant in minerals, from gold, platinum, uranium. You mentioned it, we have it. But then the dike that we are talking about now is the dike of art. And it seems as if the stakeholders, the businessmen and women of Zishawani are sort of, how can I put it? Let me put it in Shona to say, you are not regulated, where they are not doing the job they're supposed to do. Where you had previously mentioned in the previous segment, where you said that it is the businessmen and businesswomen's fault to say that they want to use the artists for their own personal gain,
That's
but
true.
they do not promote the art. Where now we are seeing the downfall, the shortfalls of that happening, where we're saying that the artist is no longer being given the necessary sponsorship, not being given the platform to perform, and not being given the chance here in Shawani. We're saying we have these lodges, we have facilities that most places do not have, and we have them in abundance. And now we're actually seeing that you see some of the places that you've mentioned, like Magla Stadium, a place which is now derelict, where we're saying it is half abandoned, where you sometimes see activity, but the activity is nothing to do with the art side. It has nothing to do with culture. It has nothing to do with sports or entertainment whatsoever. Where we're now seeing that the issues that are affecting Shawani, we see that the lack of activity, like you had said, most of the people that you find in the police camp, they immediately say, I'm an artist. But now the thing is, the artists tried their level best to sing, tried their level best to maybe make sculptures, tried their level best to be a model, but eventually found solace in a drug. Nowadays, there is Tori, crystal meth, guka, and so many other drugs that have rampaged the streets. And we're saying it has become the problem which came from something that was ignored in the past and is still being ignored. We're not saying it's not, it has been evaded, but we're saying it has been ignored. So the businessman should clearly try and do something. If you're a businessman or woman out there, we as Shannon Focus are clearly saying to you that you should try your level best to help that upcoming artist. I don't want to say upcoming, but help the artist. It could be your child. It could be someone that you know who has talent. Nurture that person's talent. Make sure that that person gets the necessary recognition that they're saying. We're with Donald Musundire in studio, and it is an interesting conversation that we're having. And you brought into light the Ministry of Primary Secondary Education, and perhaps even also the Ministry of Sports, Arts and Culture. Those ministries, it seems as if they are, how can I put it, there are ministries that are there, but they're not really
doing their job. We were saying, as an activist, what do you have to say about these ministries and other organizations and stakeholders in terms of their promotion, especially here in Shawani? We do not go too far, especially here in Shawani, because you might soon discover that other places they might have a chance. But I'm saying here in Shawani, what can they do to help? Because the moment they don't help these artists, crime increases, unemployment is an issue that has that spreads, and we're also seeing the issue of drug abuse, prostitution. So what can these ministries do to help the artists go up and also to erase these other problems?
Right, that's a critical question, so to say, but I have to answer it. But before I answer it, I just want to tell you that for one man to swim faster, he must be thrown at the deep end of the pool. So I want to throw these people, this representative, at the deep end of the pool. They have to reach the deep end for them to understand what is on the shallow. It's not only life that is on the shallow, but on the deep end. Because art is centered on a level of two things: opportunities and a road to opportunities. So, in other words, I am saying not only the person who has got an opportunity should be a beneficiary to everything that they have solidly, which is prescribed to be beneficiaries for artists. But nowadays, what is really happening, the one who has the opportunity is the one who is going far. But the one who wants the opportunity, who is at the deep end, is not even accessing what the person who is at the shallow has accessed. They have to reach out to communities. They have to reach out to the grassroots. That's the other mission of Equal Arts Association. We don't leave anyone behind. That's my other mission here in Zimbabwe. I don't rate communities. Every community has got investment and advantages. Whether it's Mberengwa, whether it's Mvuma, whether it's Gokwe Center, there are artists there. Let's go down. Let's have a survey. Let's have a very, very true statistical booklet that identifies how many artists we have in Zimbabwe. Not these reports that are just written and posted via WhatsApp and internet and converted to PDFs, whereby someone is on the office and just rates and got maybe in Shawano we've got 2 to 3 artists. Let's have the correct figures on board. The president wants the correct information to support the ministry with whatsoever that needs to be done. The problem that we are now doing, we are politicizing the arts, cultural and creative industry to an extent that if one launches his song and his album, people they rush to say the gaffer has politicized his song, while at least themselves are the one who are politically corrupt. Let's not politicize the cultural and creative industry. It is the backbone and the public relations of the country. South Africa is investing from the art because art is the first PR office of the nation. So to say, I want to encourage national development partners, the government departments, representatives from various organizations. Come, let us reason together. If we spend a month, a quarter without a stakeholder consultative meeting of what we can do to revive artists, you know the cultural and creative industry is not crumbled to an extent that we have to start afresh. It's to just revive what is there. From my experience, because people would ask, have you ever witnessed the revival processes? As equal arts associations, we have got one verified memorandum of understanding with one local authority here in Zimbabwe and 6 pending MOUs that are currently processed and which have got positive results. We are now in charge of Mkopawo in Gweru. We have an MOU with Gweru City Council. They said, no, come, Ikwelo, take this hall, use it as a recreational facility. We did that via the ministry, via National Arts Council. They supported us at provincial level. We've got an MOU with Masvingo City Council, Charles Austin Hall. They said, come, after everything has been approved by the Minister of Local Government, come, utilize the place. We've got an MOU with the Chitungwiza City Municipality. We've got an MOU with Marondera Municipality. We've got an MOU with Kwekwe City Council. Kwekwe City Council, actually, they are the ones who wrote us a letter. Come and offer us something, not us writing them a letter. So some are responding, some are responding. So here in Shabane, we still have a challenge of figuring out, though, because there's this historical adage or knowledge of saying, Ningaka Omamsoro, Ningaka Omamsoro. But to me, as an arts activist, especially the artists, and Dinamna Omamsoro. Even a station manager of a radio station, I'm not on Omamsoro. Dr. Muza, which TPA play to artists are really publicly, privately, or close the door aggressively. So, Imimi, you guys who are also broadcasting these shows, don't just post these shows to become local. They have to become international. Voice Renyurin's week. Musa Chikavan in my streets goes on, but Achawana this kind of shows and material. They are going to say, Mauda Zivisa. No, that's not it. The reason is you are the Jesuses of these people. These artists, these people whom we are representing at the level of Zvish focus. Tell them the truth, because the truth will set everyone free. But it's a problem, some artists, one culture and creative industry of lying to each other. So my last message that I want to tell you about why do we tend to lie. An artist should have 3 values. Stop pretending. Exercise. Know your shelf life. Learn from national and community example. Artists should exercise, should be fit, should eat healthy food, basic food, should live a healthy lifestyle, should sleep early, should have a work plan, should have a diary, a timetable in the room. And an artist should research and explore. And an artist should be smart, hygienically smart. That's what I will only address to the artists, because there is going to be a challenge. When artists see this program, they'll think, if I just go to see Clever Pote, being scruffy as I am, he's going to understand because I'm an artist. Mr. Musundire has educated me. No, there are things that needs your personal efforts. Don't force yourself to sing gospel when you don't read the Bible. Don't force yourself to join jazz when you don't know the basics of culture and when you don't know the historical issues that are concerning instruments and organs in music. Don't be photogenic if you doesn't know the difference between an Instagram, a Facebook, and a YouTube photo.
Wow. Zenites, you heard it for yourself. If you're an artist out there, Kezai, please try your level best to be hygienic. Brush your teeth, comb your hair, dress well. Because the person who just said it, not me, him, look at him. He is dressed to kill. So, Donald, a word to the artist. This is a final statement. A word to the artist who is out there, who is saying, you know what, I've been listening since the show has begun today, and I've understood and seen what it means to be an artist. I've understood the value of being an artist. And I'm here in Zishawani, or I am near or around Zishawani, and I want to contact you. And while you prepare that, also give them a word of advice.
I thank you very much, and it was a very good experience having me in the studio and the crew behind the scenes, TIC Studios. I also want to thank them, the producer of the show. I also want to thank them. But my word to the artists is just simple. Iron sharpen iron. So is a man sharpeneth the countenance of his or her friend. Let's give each other room to share ideas and advices. Let's not be strict in terms of art. Art is shared. It's better off shared than being done in closed doors. Let's share ideas and views. Let's discuss. And also, the lastest, which is but not least, which is the most important out of all, good things, they come from good payment. Artists, don't be vulnerable. Learn to pay for good services. For you to have a good video, for you to have a good song, for you to have a good photo shoot, learn to afford to pay. Don't just cry every day. Don't just be naturally vulnerable. Even biblically, they say your words have got power. If you say you are poor, you are going to remain poor. But I know of artists who aspire and who are now rich. Let's use these advantages. If there's a workshop, if there's an attendance fee, learn to know that good knowledge and quality knowledge come from payment and support. And also, to other artists such as models and whosoever, let's adhere and adopt to community, corporate and social responsibility. It's far much better to post a photo donating a bar of soap to a grandmother in Mandawa on Facebook for people to vote for you on a certain modeling pageant or competition than to post your photo just wearing a bra. It's far much better. And for myself, Donald Musundire, I'm the Secretary General of Equal Arts Association. For you to get in touch with me, I know I'm in an office that also has got a secretary, and my phone number is 0778 899 129, only for business, 0778 899 129. And for our social media platforms, on Facebook it's Equelo Arts Association, Equelo TV, and as well as my email address, which is tamukamusu@gmail.com. Thank you very much for having me in the studio.
There you go, Z-Nights. You have heard it for yourself. So it was a wonderful time today. We had a very educational experience where we really enjoyed and we were educated on things that are affecting us as the youth in Zishawani and perhaps even Zimbabwe at large. As artists, we have understood what it means to be an artist. We have considered the values, and we've learnt a lot from Donald Musundire. He is a man of integrity indeed, because the information that he has, some of the things you do not find in books, but certainly we can say that we are proud to have such an individual here in Zishawani
who is trying to help and promote the arts and culture. Ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, D Black, and this is Zishawani on Focus. And you can join us next week. But before we get there, you can call us on 071 996 1438. And you can follow us on all our social media platforms at iTech Studios. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure. I hope that you understand. Be vocal in order for you not to be local. Until next time, sayonara.